So we ask ourselves, why does this happen to me? Whatever that is, right? And normally, it's not a good thing we're talking about here. Whenever something bad happens, it's like, why does it happen to me? Why? So what are we saying? Why shouldn't it happen to somebody else? We don't deserve it, right? We don't expect bad things to happen to us. We don't expect anything bad to happen to anybody we know. So why do these things happen? Going back to that question of why is there suffering? These bad things are suffering, right? They make us suffer. So why do these things happen? Because we don't expect them to happen, because we expect the opposite to happen. So maybe this has something to do with what we expect. Maybe if we stopped expecting, we won't be disappointed as much. Maybe if we started accepting instead of expecting, we'll be okay, because now I'm not going to expect to win the lottery tomorrow and be disappointed tomorrow night, just like all of the other 40 years I was disappointed. Maybe I can just stop expecting. But when I did win the lottery, I'll be delighted, right? But I'm not going to expect it. I'm going to live my life, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Living in gratitude, being gratified, is the happiest place I can think of, right? Imagine if whoever you are, wherever you are, and whatever you have, you are content with. You don't expect more. You'll be pleased if there is more, but you are happy with what you have. People tell me that viewpoint means nobody makes any progress at all in life. If they're happy with whatever they have, there's no reason for them to do more. So people are going to stop working. They're going to stop dreaming. They're going to stop wanting. Nobody's going to do anything because they're in gratitude, right? They're happy with what they have. If they live under a rock, they're going to be happy because they're in gratitude. I think that viewpoint is wrong. I think happy people will continue to move forward, but they're going to be happy. They're not going to stop wanting to find and discover new things. They're not going to want to find new friends and form new relationships just because they're happy with the ones they have. But they're going to stop doing one thing. They're going to stop being disappointed. They're going to stop being angry, because wherever they are, they're going to accept. And they're going to be happy with whatever they have. Okay, let's take an example. Someone living in a tent, corner of town, they could be in gratitude and happy with what they have. But are they going to want something better? Are they going to want to live in a house with a real roof that's going to protect them against the elements? Yes. But they're not going to be unhappy because they don't have the house. You know why? Because they could lose the tent altogether too. So the little shelter they had could be gone as well. That's kind of looking at the glass half full and half empty. The message I'm trying to get across here is ultimately how to achieve inner happiness. Different components of this state of being happy. One of them is to lower our expectations and to stop asking the question, why does this happen to me? Why doesn't God intervene in my life on my behalf? And to accept that just being is a miracle in itself. Just by virtue of being alive. Somebody once said, when you wake in the morning and you lift your head up off your pillow, you have all you need. If I lived in that state, I think I'll be happy waking up every day, because I wouldn't think I'm missing something. No, I have everything I need. So living in gratitude, being grateful for everything that we have, it kind of does lead us to look more deeply and more carefully at ourselves and our surroundings. I think our world, instead of being all the way out there, truly is going to shrink to being here. But we're going to start realizing all of the good things and all of the miracles that are around us. These high levels of expectation or living in expectation, it makes us lose sight of what is immediately here. I used to drive along the road, along this really beautiful coastal road, back and forth a few years ago for work. And every now and then I would stop at a set of traffic lights and look around and see these beautiful flowers, wild flowers by the side of the road. And I'd wonder, wow, these flowers are really beautiful, and get going again. And then I started thinking to myself, all of these people traveling this road back and forth every day, I wonder if they ever noticed these flowers at all. I guess the minute that some sort of a plague or disease hits and we lose all of our flowers is when we're going to start looking and appreciating flowers. We're going to look for flowers and it's like, oh my God, why does this happen to us? Why did we lose all of the flowers? Well, we had flowers, except we didn't want them or we didn't pay attention because there was something important we expected. So taking pleasure in these tangible, real things that surround us. Happiness, is not something that hits us in bulk. It comes in little pieces, in little gifts. It comes in these little instances. But we have to walk around with eyes open. And more importantly, being open to receive and accept the miracles we have around us, these opportunities for happiness that we have around us. Being content with where we are and what we are and who we are and what we have. Not to say that we shouldn't look to better ourselves, but to understand, what we have could easily be taken away from us, whatever it is. And this is the issue with loss, going back to the question of spiritual beings having a physical experience and to experience loss. This is what happens. So we suffer loss and we think back and go, oh, you know what? If I had spent more time with this person, if I had only paid more attention here, if I had only done this or only done the other thing. But if we are living life appreciating everything and every moment and everyone, we're not going to have all of those regrets later. So again, taking a different viewpoint of life, every one of us, again, going back to example of the movies, there was a movie about India a few years back, and the life of these little kids living on the streets in India, and the poverty is unbelievable. And a group of these kids had become friends, and they were protecting each other. They were like from 5 to 8, 10 years old. And one of them was about to get adopted and go to a nice home, food, shelter, everything. He didn't want to go because he found his happiness in his friends. He didn't want to leave his family behind. He didn't want to substitute that with a warm bed and food and care and that kind of thing. He appreciated what he had in his friendships, in his relationships. He valued the experiences they shared. You see, he was in gratitude of that. He wouldn't just sell it for the next best thing, for the next better thing. So ultimately, the question of happiness, as I said, it comes from us being open to receive and to appreciate and understand that you can, as a 5-year-old orphan in a street in India with no possessions and nothing, you could still find happiness. You could still find joy in the knowledge of your friendship with someone else, offering them protection, they offering you protection, and sharing life and sharing experience. That could be a source of joy in itself. And so, compassion for the self, one of the necessary components is gratitude. Gratitude helps us lead happier lives each day. I'm not going to tell you that there's going to be this big event at the end of life because of gratitude. No. Gratitude, think of those little packets, of those little moments, of those little instances of joy that it can give you, instead of anxiety, instead of heartache, instead of disappointment. Gratitude.